Hello, I'm Amara Jones, and today is Monday, June 8th. This is Caffeine TV, your daily news brief, here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to the Real Housewives. The first number of today is 20. That's the number of black teenagers placed in handcuffs outside of a neighborhood pool in suburban McKinney, Texas, just outside of Dallas, involving an incident which the mainstream media would euphemistically call police misconduct. A video of the event has made the rounds on the internet since it occurred on Friday. Now, the all too familiar incident began when a local black resident, a teenager, called her friends, both black and white, to their local subdivision for an end of the year pool party. But when an argument broke out between her and an older white resident, someone called the police to say that there were a bunch of black people in their neighborhood who didn't belong. The police then showed up and ordered black teenagers on the ground and began to handcuff them. But when one of the teenagers didn't move fast enough for one of the police officers, who grabbed her by the hair, spun her around, shoved her on the ground, and then placed her in handcuffs. When her friends tried to rush to their aid, he cursed them and then pulled a gun on them. Now, this incident underscores the importance of a project begun by The Guardian, in which they use crowdsourced information like the video from last Friday to catalog overreach by the police, specifically police shootings. And what it shows is that police shootings are twice as high as previous data showed. A link to that website and project is on our Facebook page. But won't it be great when the day arrives when none of this is necessary? The next number up today is also 20. That's the number of Grand Slam titles captured by champion Serena Williams on Saturday in her 2-1 set victory in the French Open over her Czech opponent, Lucy Safarova. This victory places her just 2 titles away from tying with Steffi Graf, who's considered to be the greatest women's champion in modern tennis, and just 5 titles away from being the greatest women's tennis champion in history. But as an article in Vox lays out, rather than this being greeted uniformly with praise, many people took to Twitter to send out racist and sexist tweets using the most horrific and grotesque racial and sexist stereotypes in order to make their point and to try to smear her victory. But this is nothing new for Venus and Serena, and it's always been the case for them. And rather than respond verbally, they've allowed for their tennis to speak for them. As a matter of fact, there's an argument as to whether or not Serena Williams is the greatest American athlete currently living. And all of this just reminds me of a quote from Sophia on the Golden Girls: "When you're as right as I am, you don't have to say it." The last number today is 5,000. That's the number of Delaware citizens who turned out over the last week to pay their respects to former Delaware Attorney General Beau Biden, the 46-year-old son of Vice President Joe Biden, who passed away from brain cancer last week. Over 1,000 people turned out for his funeral on Saturday alone. President Obama gave the eulogy. Now, Vice President Biden has described his son as, quote, "the best man that he's ever known," close quote. And an example of that is the fact that Beau Biden turned down the chance to run for the Senate because he wanted to continue a string of child abuse prosecutions that he had initiated as Attorney General. But what's interesting is the way that the entire American nation has embraced the death of Beau Biden and the Biden family. And maybe that's because in an age of Instagram and keeping up with the Kardashians, people sense that the Biden family is about as real as it gets. As a matter of fact, the gaffes that the vice president has made and the off-the-cuff comments that are frequently recorded of him are because he is a real person, and everyone can see that their grief also is real, which is why our heart goes out to them.